Fantagraphics is celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, and Colin Blanchette of Canon magazine offers his 50 favorite things about his employer. Hey everyone, it is FANzine Live. This is Tom. I am really pleased and excited to share a new release with you today, and that is 50 Things I Love About Fantagraphics. Colin Blanchette, who makes a zine called Canon. Now, we've looked at Canon before. They had a very nice 100 best issue that was a lot of fun. This is the main zine. Take a look at the date on it. Been doing this since 2023. This is the magazine for readers of fine comics, as he likes to call it. He does great interviews, has wonderful commentary and analysis of comics. Really good discussion. I like this zine a lot and have picked up, I think, just about everything. Why are we looking at Fantagraphics? Well, Colin, why don't you tell me? Looking at his zine here, 50 Things I Love About Fantagraphics, he says here, full disclosure, I work for Fantagraphics Books, the best comics publisher in the English-speaking world. And he goes on like that. I met him at Short Run in Seattle this past fall. He works in their finance department, which is really kind of cool. He is a guy who just loves comics, and he's apparently good at finance. And so put two and two together, and he probably has a dream job because he gets to hang out with the comics guys and he gets to apply his skills as he's just making good stuff off the side. So he does his Canon scene. With the 50th anniversary of Fantagraphics this year, he took it upon himself to do the 50 things he loves about Fantagraphics. It's a nice little zine, just standard photocopy, saddle stitch, double staple, real basic black and white, classic looking zine. I think that actually plays to the homemade nature of the project, and who knows how many of these he's made. Doesn't really matter, because if he runs out, he can just run down to the copy shop and make another 10 or 20. This is $5 a piece. I will give you the information on it in the show note, and here we go. The 50 Things I Love About Fantagraphics is brought to you by Colin Blanchette and his friend Alan Eklund. And he just goes through and gives things that he likes about Fantagraphics. The Comics Journal, the bookstore, the Acme Novelty Library display, which apparently was a bit of a beast. 8 Ball, number 22 by Dan Klaus. The Kirby art campaign. Remember how Fantagraphics campaigned to get Jack Kirby his original artwork back. Neil Adams, of course, was really big in that, but we can't overlook the fact that Fantagraphics really made this a cause celeb. The Van, the Fantagraphics van, which was apparently cartooned by just about everybody and anybody who worked for Fantagraphics. So you've got some Hernandez brothers and the like. Amazing Heroes, tolerated at best by Gary Groth. Amazing Heroes is probably my favorite comics news zines ever. If you want really good discussion of comics, and especially superhero comics, Amazing Heroes was fantastic. In addition, they have these preview specials where I don't know how they did it, but they canvassed every single publisher on the horizon and basically said, what do you have coming up in the next 6 months to a year? And then they would write it all down. These happened in the mid 80s, so you're looking at like 80, probably 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, that period, which of course was a magical period in comics. And so you actually will learn a little bit about the development of some of the seminal series in comics. And that was really cool. Stuff like Watchmen, in the development of Watchmen. The big one that I found most interesting was Crisis on Infinite Earths. That thing had a number of iterations as they were trying to figure out what they were going to do with it. So that was pretty cool. Another one, Misfit Lit. Their studio editions. Colin and Alex remind us that the studio editions came before the artist editions. And so if you like those big books with full-size art, came from Fantagraphics. Kenneth Smith, Crumb, the Kevin Eastman interview, the many lawsuits that Fantagraphics was involved in. Yeah, when you make enemies, and Fantagraphics has made their share of enemies with the Comics Journal. Yeah, Critters, Eros Comics, The Best Comics of the Decade book, Fantagraphics Underground, the editorials of Gary Gruff. Gary has had his share of editorials. The website for the Comics Journal, a great website. I really enjoy reading that. Sunday Press, Bill Shelley, Hateball Tour, Peanuts, message boards. I mean, it just goes on and on. It's some really cool stuff. Ooh, Carl Barks, the complete Carl Barks library. One of the great duck artists of all time, perhaps the great one. Here it is. This was the model for the top 100 from Canon. This was the top 100 English language comics of the century, put together by Cartoon Crossroads Columbus major domo, the late Tom Spurgeon. Monster Comics, Dilbert, Industry Journalism, 00, Zap Comics, Ignat Collection, Joe Sacco's Palestine. Now that's a great book. Blood and Thunder. Anything Goes. Remember we were talking about the lawsuits? Well, this was a fundraising series that Fantagraphics put together where all the creators donated their work to support Fantagraphics in their lawsuits, and they made a miniseries out of it. The First 50 from Love and Rockets. Look at that picture of the Fantagraphics office. That is crazy. And this is not an official Fantagraphics book. It is a Canon zine, and it's a really fun one. It's a really good one. If you're interested in reading more about Fantagraphics' role in the last 50 years of making comics, this is a great book to take a look at. So that's it. I will have information on this in the show notes. If you are interested in the backstories of comics and the like, this is a good one to get. Colin, you got yourself a great job. I'm so glad that you're happy there. I'm so glad that you get a chance to make zines like this off the side. Keep them coming, and we will keep talking about them. Have a great one, everyone. This is Tom. This is FANzine Live. This was a new release called Things I Love About Fantagraphics. I will catch you next time.